Probably don't see that every day. Right? So, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Schmidt with Vigilant Self Defense, and I'm just so honored to be here and be a part of this magical evening tonight. When I was asked to participate, I thought, how can I contribute? And I realized one of the best gifts I could give you is to not sing or not dance, because the Lord did not bless me with those abilities. But I do know a little bit about personal protection and about non-lethal self-defense. And I want to talk to you about non-lethal self-defense because, let's be honest, I teach concealed carry classes, I teach people how to use firearms, but not everyone's ready to use one. A lot of people don't like them. Maybe you find yourself faced with a threat right now and you need something right now and you don't have the time to get familiar with a firearm. Right? None of that means that you have to be defenseless. So non-lethal options are a great option for self-defense. Now, I only have 8 minutes, so I can't talk to you about all of the non-lethal self-defense options. So tonight I'm going to focus on pepper spray. Now, just quick show of hands, how many of you have carried or currently carry pepper spray? Can I get some hands up? All right, see, a good option, right? I chose pepper spray because it is by far the most common non-lethal self-defense device that is carried. You can go to any major retailer and there's a whole shelf of them there, right? So it's a great tool. You don't need a permit to carry. You don't need a background check. It's legal in all 50 states, and it's relatively easy to use. But there are a couple things you have to get right. In fact, there's 3 major rules that you need to follow if you are someone who carries pepper spray for self-defense. Right? And the first rule is not don't spray yourself. That's important. Right? But the first rule is to have it in your hand when you need it. Have it in your hand when you need it. Right? The reason why is because if it's not in your hand when you need it, the chances of you getting it in your hand before your attacker hits you or grabs you or pins you to the ground is incredibly unlikely. And even if you can get your pepper spray out after that, well, now you're using it very close to this person. Pepper spray is not designed to be used here, which gives us to our second rule, which is don't spray yourself. Okay? So pepper spray is great. It's derived from oleoresin capsicum. It's a very potent chemical from chili peppers. When it gets on a person, it gets in their eyes, it forces their eyes shut. They can't open their eyes unless they physically hold them open. If it gets on their skin, it has a burning sensation that's very unpleasant. If they get it in their lungs, they're coughing, they're gagging, they're focusing on how they can't breathe, they're having difficulty breathing, and all that is great when it happens to this guy. I don't want that happening to me. So I have to make sure that I'm not getting that on me, or at least not getting a full exposure. Now, how do we do that? Get to rule number 3, which is understand the tool that you carry. Understand how it works. Understand how to use it under stress. And how we do that is we practice with it. Now, there are a lot of different types of pepper spray. Thousands of different options. You got pepper spray, pepper gel, pepper ball, pepper blasters, pepper powder, all sorts of crazy things. 3-in-1, 2-in-1. But you know what? For tonight's purposes, we're just going to boil them down to 2 different types. It is either a spitting cobra or an octopus. I have not lost my mind, I promise. Right? So what do I mean by spitting cobra? Well, a spitting cobra is a direct spray type of pepper spray. I brought some devices with me. These are trainers. There's nothing, live here. I'm sure that front row is a little nervous for a second, but it's okay. These are just water, not going to hurt anybody. All right, so a direct type pepper spray is meant to be sprayed directly at your attacker's eyes. Right? Want to get it in his eyes. You think of a spitting cobra if you've watched National Geographic, Nature Channel. My 5-year-old son loves cobras. So I've learned a lot about them in the last year. Didn't think I would, but that's how a spitting cobra defends itself. It sprays its venom right into the eyes of the attacker. And when that happens, your attacker's eyes are forced shut. They cannot see you. Now, most of what we process is visual. If we take that away from someone, they can't target us. It gives us plenty of options. I can defend myself simply by moving out of the way. Right? So direct spray is great because it's also concentrated. So I can use this in more confined spaces. If I'm indoors in a bedroom or an office, a confined space like that, it's not guaranteed that I won't have cross-contamination, but it's minimal. Okay? Also, the effects are pretty much immediate once they get in their eyes. His opinion doesn't matter. His eyes will shut if I get them in his eyes, right? But there are some downsides to a direct type pepper spray. You notice, it's much more concentrated. I have to apply a pretty good amount of precision to get on a very small target, right? So I need to practice with this to make sure I can do that when I need to. The other thing is if there's multiple attackers, now I've got to engage each of them one at a time. So maybe not the best option in that situation. Now the other type of pepper spray, I talked about it, animal I referred to as the octopus. Now if you've seen National Geographic, when an octopus feels threatened, what does it do? Sprays a cloud of ink, okay? This does not spray ink. This one sprays water. But how this works is if I am threatened by someone, I have this spray, I'm going to spray in their direction. Now it doesn't look like much, right? But that vapor is filled with OC spray. Tiny little microscopic drops. And it just takes one, trust me, just one to get in there to do this work. Now I can spray it in his general area, and if it gets on him, it's going to get in his skin. He's going to inhale it. He's going to start coughing and gagging. Or if I'm all the way over here and I spray it at him, well, now he has a choice. He can either stay there and not feel the effects, or he can come through it and feel the effects. I'm good with either one because I'm going this way. Right? Now, there are some downsides to this as well, or things to consider. First of all, because it is an aerosol, not the best in confined spaces. I mean, if you think farting in an elevator is bad, that's not great. Okay? So if you can't quickly leave the area, maybe this isn't the one for you. But this is good against multiple attackers. If all three of them are coming at me, I can just create that cloud and get all of them at the same time. Another downside of this is I really have to be conscious of where the wind is blowing, right? Okay? If I'm spraying at the bad guy and all of my spray goes this way, it does nothing to him. Or worse, I spray and it comes this way, well, now I've done him a favor, right? So I have to be conscious of where this spray is spraying. So there's a lot of different things to keep in mind when it comes to pepper spray. Those are, the surface level things, but it is a fantastic tool to have. And especially if you are someone who, you're not ready to carry a firearm or you're not able to carry a firearm, I highly recommend pepper spray as an option. So that is what I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for everyone. Have a fantastic evening.